Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optics covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
By Brome, where bird feeding meets innovation. Discover truly squirrel-proof bird feeders, all backed by lifetime care commitment. Brome.com.
And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, visit audubon.org/Hog Island.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our show, number 1099. Starting off with an item from our You Never Know What Birds You Might See If You Just Look department. Folks in southwest Iceland are all agog over sightings this week of an American tree sparrow. The first instances of the bird ever being recorded there. The American tree sparrows, native to North America, breeding in Alaska and northern Canada and wintering over much of the U.S. lower 48. Thanks to our friend André Dubroy in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, Canada, for telling us about it. Well, it's week 3 of Plastic-Free July, a special time to think about our use of plastic and maybe renew a pledge to avoid single-use plastics at all costs. Last week, we spoke with Jonathan Berard from the plastic pollution fighting group Beyond Plastics, and we're following that up for all who might want to learn more about the plastic problem. Beyond Plastics founder and president Judith Enck teaches a 7-week online course about plastic pollution. I had the chance to take the course last year, and I recommend it heartily to anyone who wants to learn more about this important issue. From the truth about recycling to the false information being spewed by petroleum companies to the very serious damage plastic waste is inflicting on our planet and its inhabitants, including birds and people. For details on the next course, which begins in early September, visit the Beyond Plastics website, beyondplastics.org. That's plastics with an S, beyondplastics.org. A frightening but familiar to many. Mystery bird.
Wilbur. No.
That's our Tim McKinney. More about him later. But this is our Mystery Bird Contest preview. You just heard that sound. As they say, familiar to many, but we'll see how many in our Mystery Bird Contest coming up a little bit later in our show. We have some fabulous prizes for the Mystery Bird Contest, including something extra special. Between now and August 2nd, everybody who wins our Mystery Bird Contest will be eligible automatically for a special drawing for a bird weather puck. That is right in the window of our Talking Birds radio studio right now, recording the sounds of birds out in our Talking Birds garden area and reporting them to our smartphone here in real time, letting us know what the puck is hearing, and we can even play that back and listen to it in real time, or, well, anytime, actually. It's an amazing thing, and we'll be giving that away on our August 9th show. So if you win our Mystery Bird Contest today, you'll be eligible automatically to win it. That's about a $300 retail value, by the way. Other great prizes today from Brome Bird Care and Bird Collective. Terrific stuff here. Now, info about that bird. We don't want to leave this out. It's a robin-sized raptor with mottled gray upper parts and underparts that are gray with fine barring and dark streaks. It has a dark-rimmed facial mask, yellow eyes, and small ear tufts. In a red morph variation, reddish-brown tones replace the gray plumage. Our bird is found across the U.S., as far west as West Texas and Montana, and in the southern parts of Manitoba and Saskatchewan in Canada. That's some of the detail about our mystery bird and the contest coming along a little bit later. Now a salute to two more royal members of our Talking Birds listening audience, and that is our Talking Birds Ambassadors family. And we want to say thank you to Kelsey from Frederick, Maryland. Thank you, Kelsey, for becoming a Talking Birds Ambassador. And thanks to Ryan Pulis from Hudson, Ohio. Thank you, Ryan. We love our Talking Birds Ambassadors who help spread the word about our show and about birds and conservation by handing out, at their leisure, the little Talking Birds info cards that we send to them. And if you'd like to join the Ambassadors family, and we hope you will, just mosey on over to talkingbirds.com, no G in talking, and click on the Get Involved tab, and you'll see how easy it is to do it. That's the Get Involved tab at talkingbirds.com. Still to come today, we'll talk to Dr. Donald Brightsmith about a new study he led on how Amazon parrots, confiscated from the illegal wildlife trade, can successfully be reintroduced into the wild through something called free flight training. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for Let's Ask Mike, almost live from the archive, on the topic of goober peas, more widely known as peanuts for birds. And up next, it's our featured feathered friend presented by the Bigger and Better BWD magazine, with each large format issue packed with beautiful photographs, illustrations, and in-depth articles ranging from backyard birds to birding abroad. Experience birds up close with BWD at bwdmagazine.com. We started the show today with a report on that very unexpected American tree sparrow in Iceland. And we've had a pretty surprising visitor, quite close to our home radio station here on the South Shore of Massachusetts this week. And we're making it today's featured feathered friend. It's the bridled tern, a mega rarity for this area, since it's a bird of warm tropical seas that's rarely seen on land. The bridled tern is a medium-sized tern with a long, deeply forked tail. The back is gray with brownish-black wings, and the striking white plumage of the underparts continues up through the face, where a black line extends from behind the eye, and a black cap emerges in breeding adults. Bridled terns are found in tropical waters worldwide, breeding on islands and nesting by making slight scrapes on the ground under ledges or dense shrubs. They feed mostly on small fish, as well as squid, insects, and crustaceans, as they forage around rafts of sargassum seaweed, typically swooping down from as high as 33 feet to pick prey from the ocean surface, and occasionally making shallow plunge dives. The International Union for Conservation of Nature estimates the bridled tern's global population at 400,000 to 1 million and lists its conservation status as of least concern. By the way, some folks call this bird the dog tern because they think its call sounds like that of a dog barking. A small dog barking. It's Onychoprion anethatus, today's featured feathered friend and pleasant surprise visitor to our home-based neighborhood this week, the bridled tern. Welcome again to our show number 1099. Dr. Donald Brightsmith is a professor of ecosystem health in the Department of Veterinary Pathobiology and the Schubot Center for Avian Health at Texas A&M University. He holds a PhD in zoology from Duke University and MS in wildlife ecology from the University of Arizona and a BS in natural resources from Cornell University. He was the lead scientist for a recent study about the successful release of confiscated Amazon parrots using free flight training. He joins us now to tell us a bit about the study and the free flight training concept. Good morning, Don.
Good morning.
Well, your study's summary points out that one of the factors contributing to this global loss of biodiversity is the capture of animals for the illegal wildlife trade. And that's illuminated by the fact that, as the study says, 25% of the birds in the order to which the parrots belong are threatened with extinction and this involves 421 species. I guess we might call this shocking, but not surprising. How big is the wildlife trade, and how much is being done to try to shut it down?
Well, the wildlife trade is global, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And again, so much of it now is illegal, as many parts of the world have prohibited imports and prohibited exports. So a lot of the birds that are coming out of places like Peru or Colombia are coming out illegally. And there's a lot that's being done to combat the wildlife trade, but there certainly isn't enough that's being done. There's all sorts of organizations. CITES is an international treaty that's trying to control and regulate the trade, while governments, including border inspectors, customs, et cetera, are trying to prevent the illegal trade. There's ecological police in many countries that are also battling against the illegal trade, but the magnitude is so great, and the money that is being made by some of these people involved in the trade is enough to make it very attractive.
So when birds are confiscated from illegal hands, that sounds like good news, but it's not that simple, right?
Yeah, so once birds are confiscated from the illegal trade, the governments will often give them either to government-sponsored rescue centers or to privately operated rescue centers. And from there, the birds are likely to be given food, water, protection, et cetera. But often, depending on where you are, the quality of life may not be the best, in part because there's so many birds that are just need these places, need this refuge from after coming out of the wild for the illegal trade. And that's where it gets complicated.
Well, how does this free flight training work, Don, and how successful is it proving to be?
Okay, so once you've got these birds that are in these cages, one of the big questions is, how do we get them out into the wild? Well, lots of them can't, because either they're injured or they're old, or they're just way too interested in people or not willing or able to fly. So that makes it complicated. But for young birds that were confiscated early enough in life, there is this option called free flight training. And it's kind of the equivalent of falconry, but for parrots. It started out as a technique for people to be able to fly their own pets. And then the trainer, Chris Biro, has started to work with my group in order to figure out ways to use this technique to get birds back out into the wild. And it's basically a method of, as these birds are developing right around the time that they would naturally fledge, the trainer, which in this case is often Chris Biro, will call them from point to point at the beginning in order to encourage them to fly. And in this way, he provides kind of a guided behavioral development where he helps guide the birds, these young birds, into where they should go at what times in their development, encouraging them to fly first by themselves and then as small groups. And in this way, they are in the right place at the right time to develop the skills they need to be very similar to wild parrots. So with free flight training, once the birds are released, they often behave much better than through traditional release techniques, because the birds really know how to fly well. They're not super scared. They don't get lost and fly off into the environment. Instead, they go to local feeders that the project has set up, so they get the supplemental food very easily, and then they stay in the area and fly really strongly and fly as a group. So because of that, we've had really good success when we release birds that have been trained using free flight training.
Well, your study also looked at community outreach. Tell us a bit about the importance, if you would, of involving local folks in a process like this.
So the important part with local people is, once these birds are released that have been in captivity, that have come out of the illegal wildlife trade, there's often this problem where they may still be interested in people and haven't fully transferred over to being more interested in other birds. So often they'll approach people. They may look for a handout or just kind of hang out near a house, et cetera. And if the people try to, they can capture them. They could kill them potentially for feathers or eating. So that's kind of a problem. And there's kind of two ways of dealing with this problem. Either you train the birds to be afraid of the people, or you train the people to be tolerant of the birds and just kind of let them be. So this community outreach is often focusing on that second idea of telling people that these birds are part of a project, that these birds should be a source of pride for the local communities, and encouraging them to just kind of let them be in the area, in the shared spaces. And it also works well because when the community knows about it, if somebody isn't following the rules, or one of the birds gets captured, or somebody's feeding them or behaving inappropriately, they'll often, in the case of this Columbia work, they contacted the project directors and told them, hey, you may have a problem here. So allowing the project personnel to go out and actually see what was going on the ground.
And for those who'd like to take a deeper dive into your study and maybe this whole issue, what are some good resources for that?
Well, there's the paper that we have published. If you search for my name, Don Brightsmith, macaws, or Amazon parrots, in this case, Colombia, Brazil, you'll start to see all sorts of interesting things, publications. And if you visit the Macaw Society, either on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, you can find quite a bit of good information there as well.
All right, the Macaw Society, MACAW. Dr. Donald Brightsmith is a professor of ecosystem health in the Department of Veterinary Pathobiology and the Schubot Center for Avian Health at Texas A&M University. Don, thank you for your important work, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Up next, it's our mystery bird contest in just 1 minute. The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com. There it is, a kind of familiar and frightening sounding mystery bird. The contest underway here. The number to call is 781-837-4900. I'll give that number again in a moment if I remember. I think I will. Here are some clues. Our mystery bird is a robin-sized raptor with mottled gray upper parts, underparts that are gray with fine barring and dark streaks. It has a dark-rimmed facial mask, yellow eyes, and small ear tufts. In a red morph variation, reddish-brown tones replace the gray plumage. Our bird is found all across the U.S., from the East Coast as far west as Texas and Montana, and in the southern parts of Manitoba and Saskatchewan in Canada. Its prey includes many kinds of small animals, including mice, chipmunks, squirrels, and birds, for which it searches in flight rather than from a perch. So our mystery bird, beautiful prizes, including that Brome Bird Care Mega 600 feeder, and a $25 Bird Collective gift certificate. And if you win the contest today, you'll be eligible for the August 9th drawing for that amazing bird weather puck that identifies birds singing in your backyard or anywhere you'd like to take it. And you don't need a wheelbarrow to take it. It fits in the palm of your hand. It's quite an amazing item there. So that's the Mystery Bird Contest. 781-837-4900 is the number to call. Meanwhile, it's Let's Ask Mike, almost live from the archive. Let's Ask Mike in just 1 minute.
Squirrels have one mission in life: eat your birdseed. They hang, They swing. They stretch, climb, and plot their next move. For squirrels, your bird feeder is the ultimate prize. But now, they've finally met their match. Introducing the Squirrel Buster Evolution. When a squirrel climbs onto the feeder, its own weight automatically closes access to the seed, stopping the theft instantly while birds continue to feed comfortably. No batteries, no tricks, no complicated setup. Just smart, proven squirrel-proof technology that works, day after day, season after season. That's why the Squirrel Buster Evolution was named Best New Birding Product of 2025 by the Wild Bird Feeding Institute. So let the birds enjoy the feast, and let the squirrels keep trying. Look for the Squirrel Buster Evolution at Brome.com or at your local bird shop.
We have a special intro for Mike because of the subject matter this morning. Are we ready? Here we go.
Goodness, how delicious, eating goober peas. Peas, 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 delicious goober peas.
That's right, goober peas. Up north here, we call them peanuts. Let's see if Mike also calls them that, or maybe he calls them goober peas. Good morning, Mike.
Goodness, how delicious eating goober peas.
Can anybody dispute that? I'll tell you, that's Tennessee Ernie said that, so it must be true. That's what I figured.
Tennessee Ernie. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'm talking about peanuts today. Peanuts for birds, not the Planters kind with honey roasted or spice on them or salt or anything added. But they sell peanuts we call without the shell. Mm-hmm. They sell them for birds, and I put them in this feeder. It looks like a regular tube feeder, but instead of being out of clear plastic, it's made out of like hardware cloth with maybe a quarter-inch.
So the birds can just kind of poke in there.
Right. They don't take the whole peanut out. Yeah. Right. They just poke out little bits at a time. And right now I've got a family of blue jays lined up, but there's a young baby red-bellied woodpecker with no red on its head or its belly, and it's dominating the thing. But it's been so popular this year. The baby flickers. There's been chickadees on it, and the nuthatches come in, and the flickers come in. Did I say flickers already? But they're just, boy, it's just been lined up. I put it out like in the spring, and it's been, and unless, instead of like my regular seed feeder, I have to fill just about every day, but this might go 4 or 5 days because it takes them a while. But you can take peanuts that are still in the shell and put those out, and they make feeders for that. But I don't really care for those because the shells and the peanuts are so large that once the birds pull them out, you'd be filling it every 5 minutes. So I just take a tray and put that out there. And that seems surprisingly, unbelievably popular with the shells on them for blue jays, but surprisingly titmice. Titmice just seem to just go nuts for, I made a joke there, right? Go nuts for these peanuts.
That was a nut joke. Did you get that? A nut joke. Yeah.
And they grab the little, you know how like peanuts, they have that little dry part at the end of the stem, and they grab that and they take off and they eat that. And so in honor of the late Jimmy Carter, we're doing a lot of peanut work here, and it's great. And unfortunately, none of these birds seem to have a peanut allergy, so that's working out.
You know, a long time ago, we tried to get the former president on the show because we wanted to. He was a big bird watcher, as was his wife, and we really wanted to ask him about peanuts because he would have had something to say about that. I'm sure.
Is that true?
It's really true. We tried through the Carter Center a number of times after his presidency, of course, but we never could quite make the connection. He was a pretty busy
so
man.
The second best is me.
That's right. Exactly. I have it written down here. Yeah. So you can use the shells when you put them in the peanut feeder. What did you say? They're split, or they're kind of like whole peanuts just split?
But and pay attention to that. Get the peanuts that you sell at a grain place or a birding store. Don't take the ones, from your peanut bowl when the company doesn't finish them. They have salt and they have oils on them. Birds don't need that. They certainly don't need the honey roasted or anything like that. But you can get them at a birding store or a grain store, and we call them peanut splits. So they cut it in half. But don't get peanut hearts. That's these little tiny nubs. The birds don't seem to like those.
You don't want that.
Right. But right now I got a baby blue jay just having the best time.
Chowing down on them goober peas. So, for goober peas, you went Tennessee Ernie Ford. All right. Thank you, Mike. Do you want to hear the goober peas song again, or?
Yeah, you know what? I'll do it later.
Later on. Yeah, we'll just do this one instead this time. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, talk to you next week.
Mike O'Connor, the famous Birdwatchers General Store. The Seabird Institute's Hog Island Audubon Camp, celebrating its 90th anniversary, hosts 5-night immersive educational programs for adults, teens, and families. Through these sessions, taught by the world's leading naturalists, ornithologists, and artists, Hog Island campers deepen their relationships with the birds and the ecosystems around them. For more information, full camp details, and other program offerings, visit audubon.org/Hog Island. That's audubon.org/Hog Island. You know, before we get back to the Mystery Bird Contest, I have to credit our Tim McKenney, because he pointed out it's really Burl Ives most associated with that song, Goober Peas. He had the biggest hit. I just looked that up. So thank you for that, Tim. Are we hearing that now?
Yes.
Burl.
Sitting by the roadside.
Yeah, that's Burl. All right.
Chatting.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're moving on to the Mystery Bird Contest, I believe, and here's the sound of our mystery bird. You may know this bird. It's a well-known one, but what is it? We have some amazing prizes if you can tell us what it is and kind of be the first one to do it. And we have Michael in Minnesota on the line. Hello, good morning, Michael.
Morning, Ray.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, Michael. So you heard Tennessee Ernie, you heard Burl Ives, and you also heard our mystery bird. And in terms of that last thing, what is that bird there?
I would guess it's the eastern screech owl.
I think that's a pretty good guess there. Tim agrees, I think. Yeah, he's nodding. The eastern screech owl. Yes, beautifully done and correct at the same time. And let's see, Michael, we have time for a bonus question if you'd like to try it.
I'm happy to try.
All right. You were semi-enthusiastic about that. And guess what? We're crediting our Tim McKenney for this as well, because it was his idea.
Yes, it's all my fault.
It's his fault is what it is, to do this bonus question. There's a bonus question here, the Mystery Bird bonus question. So here it is. On our featured feathered friend and Mystery Bird segments this morning, we heard birds that sounded, in one case, like a horse, and in another case, did I just give it away there, Tim? I think I kind of...
We want to do the multiple choice.
I kind of gave it away there.
Yes.
Pretend you didn't hear that.
You only got
part.
half of it.
So this will make it a little easier.
I hear nothing.
Good answer.
And we know nothing. All right, here are the choices. What were those animals that we heard? What did they sound like is what we're trying to say for those birds. A horse and a dog. B, a dog and a cat. Or C, a horse and a monkey. It was one of those three combinations there. What do you say on that, Michael?
I'll say A, a horse and a dog.
A horse and a dog, that's right. We heard Tim giving that willow burr when we played the mystery bird there, which we can now reveal again was the eastern screech owl. And what did we hear first, Tim? We heard the bridal turn, which has a sound kind of like a dog barking. Well, I'm glad we got through all that. Michael, thank you so much. Congratulations. And if you'll stay on the line, we'll arrange prizes for you. All right. Did you wanted to say something, Tim? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael. Let's see. It would seem like we are pretty much out of time for this morning's show. We're going to get to work on next week's show, and we have a very special guest. We can't give away clues about that yet because we haven't really confirmed it yet. But anyway, we'll be back here next week. Thank you to our amazing Talking Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Freya McGregor, and today's producing engineer, Tim McKenney, who once said,
"As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster."
I'm Ray Brown, reminding you can enter next week's Mystery Bird Contest no matter where you are on planet Earth if you listen live. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optics covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
By Brome, where bird feeding meets innovation. Discover truly squirrel-proof bird feeders, all backed by lifetime care commitment. Brome.com.
And by Hog Island Audubon Camp. For full camp schedule, program details, and to register, Visit audubon.org/Hog Island.